Hi, everybody. Professor Ken here. So, the first thing I'm going to go over with you is how to graph lines, but maybe this is an event that you've never done before in this way. So, graphing lines, um, we all should know that the formula for a line or a linear equation is y equals mx plus b, where m is equal to the slope and b is equal to the y-intercept. But I'm going to show you using Desmos how we could use how we can really discover what M and B really do to the graph of the line. So right now we're going to go to Desmos. I'm going to open a new tab and type in www.desmos.com. All right, and you can see that I'm already logged in, but if you click over here, you can create your own account. So if you go to account settings, you can create your own account. And then what you want to do is hit graphing calculator. So if I wanted to, we want to write y equals mx plus b is the equation for a line. And I'm not going to do anything with that yet. I just wanted to reference it. So the slope should always be written as a fraction. So suppose we have y equals 2/3, and I did 2/3 x plus 4. All right. We see that I can just go a little slower. Whoops. Okay, so we see that the line crosses the y-axis. This is the y-axis, and it crosses the y-axis at 4. How do we get to the next point? Well, we use the slope. We go up 2 and over 3, and there's the next point. If I click on it, oops, okay. To get to the next point, go up 2 and over 3. If you click on it, it tells you what that point is. All right. So that's, now let me show you what happens when we add the sliders. And I can get rid of this. So this is the slider for m, or the slope. So basically, if I change the value of m, look what happens. The graph gets steeper and steeper. Unless I make it negative, then it gets steeper and steeper. They go the other way. And if I change the value of b, look what happens. The graph goes up or the graph goes down. So this is very useful if we want to actually have an idea in our minds and we want to graph. We want to make a graph, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So I want to make a line that basically goes from this 10 to this 5, and I'm not really sure how to do it. So, well, I do, but I know it's going to be a negative slope, so I'm going to go this way. Okay, and then I want it to cross at 5, so I'm going to go up to 5. Actually, if you just type in 5, it's a little easier. All right, it's not crossing at 10 though, so I have to make my slope a little less. There, now it is. And all right, so we know our m value is negative 0.5, which is negative 1/2, and our b value is 5. So now I can type this in. Y equals negative 0.5 x plus 5. And we could see that it covered the line. All right, so that's going to stay there. So we can change these things, but the line we just typed in is going to stay. Now I want to make a reflection. Actually, before I do that, I want to make the line segment start here and end here. I'm going to show you how to do that. So it's starting at x equals 0, and it's ending at x equals 10. So I go to my equation, and I open the brace, which is next to p. You have to hit shift and then the key next to the p. And I want it to start at 0, so I say 0 less than x, which is less than 10. And if I turn that'll turn that one off. So notice we have the line segment that we want. Now, what if I wanted a reflection going this way? Well, I can use my slider to help me. So I want the slope to go this way. but I want it to go through 10. Perfect. And there it is. So right away, we see that the slope is 0.5 and b is still 5. So I want to type in y equals 0.5x plus 5. But I want it to start where x is negative 10, and I want it to end over here where x is 5. So we can say that negative 10 is less than x, which is less than 0, because we want it to end where x equals 0. And I close the brace. And let me, this turns the graphs on and off. So look at this. If I click right here, it turns the graph off. If I click again, it turns it back on. Turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. Okay, I want that one to be turned off. So if you can just use the mouse and drag it to center it. So we could see that we have, I'm actually going to go up a little bit too. All right. Now, this is exactly what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and paste it into the Jamboard so you guys can use it for a reference. Oh boy. Bring it back. That didn't work the way I wanted it to. So now it's going to work. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste it in the Jam, and later on I will make it bigger so you can see it better. All right, and there it is in your Jamboard, so you can use it as a reference. Okay, I'm going to go back to Desmos. All right, so for now, I'm going to turn off those. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a vertical line now. Suppose I wanted this vertical line that went through x equals negative 10. All I have to type in is x equals negative 10. And there it is. Let me pull it up. I want to just pull this up a little bit. All right, so you can also use the buttons over here to zoom in or to zoom out. All right, now suppose I only wanted that line segment to start here where y is at negative 10. See, the y value is negative 10. And I want it to end here where the y value is 0. I would have to open my brace again and say that negative 10, now this time use y is less than y, which is less than 0. And the only time you're going to use y in here is if you're doing vertical lines. Now suppose I wanted to have the mirror image over here. I can copy this and paste it here and change this negative 10 to a 10. Just a 10. And there it is. Okay, so this is how we do vertical lines. I'm going to copy this and put it in the Jamboard. Actually, oops. I'm going to turn these off so you can see the vertical lines. And I'm going to make a new slide. Okay, so vertical lines. We say that x equals a number. And then to restrict it, we would say that like x equals, let's say c. That's any number. C is any number. And then we would say that a is less than y, which is less than b. And there we have it. All right, now I'm going to show you how to do horizontal lines. So I'm going to go back up here to Desmos, and I'm going to turn these off. Horizontal lines are easy. We just say that y equals a number. So actually, let's turn them all back on because there's just two specific horizontal lines I need. One of them is right here that goes through the point that goes through y equals negative 10. So all I'm going to write is y equals negative 10. And there it is, but it's going forever. I really want it to start here where x is negative 10, and I want it to end here where x is 10. So then I open my brace and I say that negative 10 is less than x, which is less than 10. Close the brace. How about that? Now I'd want to make another one up here, even though there's an axis going through it. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it, and this time I want it to go through where y is equal to 0. So instead of y equals negative 10, we're going to say y equals 0. Okay, now look at that. We have a little house. So what I'm going to do is go to some settings, which is right here, graph settings. And just for fun, I want to shut off the grid. And we can see our little house better. Isn't that nice? Okay, so I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to put it in the Jamboard. But first, I'm going to tell you about horizontal lines. Or y equals some number, let's say d. And to restrict it, we would say that y is equal to d, but we need our brace, and we say that a is less than x, which is less than b. And here's our jam. So this shows you how to make all of those. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause this so that you can, I want you now to go to Desmos and play around and see if you can reproduce this on your own. If you cannot, go look at the Jamboard.